Tom Slingsby, Olympic gold medalist on London 2012, multiple times laser world champion, Huntsman on Magic today on New York Yacht Club American Magic. Tom, could you please summarize the day for us?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. Flat water, sort of building breeze from 8 to, I think we got about 16 or 17 knots there at the end. Yeah, it was just a perfect day for testing.
We saw that there were some issues in America. Unfortunately today around 2 o'clock it had to be towed back to shore on displacement mode. Could you be a little bit specific on what happened?
Yeah, we had just a system malfunction downstairs and an oil leak, and when that happens you just basically can't move the foils, which means you can't tow in and you can't keep sailing. So they had to head in slowly, and we ended up just kept sailing Magic and did a couple of race laps on the close to shore.
Is it exactly the same issue that happened on Magic last week?
No, this is a new issue. Something we haven't had before, I think.
Then during the time that we had the two boats speed testing, going specifically into the downwind, over the last couple of days and also today, we noticed that most of the time America sails a little bit lower than Magic. However, whenever America wants to sail on the same angle, it looks like it's a little bit hard to accelerate like Magic. Would you agree on that, or what's the sensation?
No, I'd agree that America seems to have a bit more moding abilities. It seems that way, but at the same time, yeah, I think it was a pretty even split today on starboard, upwind and downwind. So yeah, it's yeah, I think downwind for sure that America might have had a little edge today on starboard.
And then when talking import tag, when you're comparing your foil number 4, the new one on Magic against number 1 on, sorry, against number 2 on America, which conclusions did you get? I
don't think there's any conclusions. One's quite a bit bigger and one's quite a bit smaller, so they obviously have a crossover. At certain times, like the bigger foil will beat the smaller foil, but it's how much distance it can get in that lighter air, and then vice versa the other way. The small foil number 2 comes through pretty well when it gets windy. But yeah, like we've seen, it's obviously there's differences in the foils, but being able to sail around a boat, if a boat gets ahead of you on a tight racetrack with boundaries, is another story.
Leaving the foils aside for 1 minute, this morning we noticed that there were some works being done on Magic, checking the tension on the highers and on the lowers, and also they were checking the movement of the rudder rake. Were you trying anything specific today on the boat tuning on Magic?
No, I got told we had some new rigging which had to bed in today, so I think they were just making sure that before we headed out it hadn't already eased off too far, so we could go. Obviously that sort of stuff stretches a little, and just keeping that in check. As for the rudder checks, I didn't know about that.
What's the plan for the following days?
Following days, I think, yeah, we're just going to be, it was beautiful forecast again for the next 3 days, sort of windy, flat water. It's kind of perfect for testing things. Yeah, we've got a few things on our list, whether it's foils, whether it's aero testing, or whether it's moding and trying different cants and things like that. And yeah, which order we're going to do that, I'm not too sure, but we'll be going through a lot of things this week.
Sam Meach, you were a cyclor today on the Emirates Team New Zealand AC75. Flat water and 10 or 15 knots of breeze. It seems like a perfect day out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was so good, and we were sailing out there with all the other 40s, and I don't know, it was just need to be out on the water, and this is the sort of days we hope to get next year.
Absolutely. Now, what were the objectives when you guys left the dock today? What were you trying to achieve?
I mean, it's good to be out here sailing at the same time as the Cup's going to be, so I think that's the main thing, really, just spending time on the water, and you know, we're not here for that much longer, so yeah, just trying to make the most of every day and just be out there during the race time.
We saw some quite long stops, longer than we've experienced recently in the couple of weeks we've been reconning you. Were there any problems with the boat, or was it just a scheduled stop?
That was probably me just getting a breather from the cycling. No, it all went pretty well today. It was a good day.
Okay, Sam, tell me about the experience of being a cyclor on this boat. Like, tell me about the sights, the sounds. What does it feel like when you're actually on the boat and it's ripping along and you're powering it?
Getting much more comfortable. You know, the first day I jumped on the boat, just the power of the boat and trying to cycle to make sure you've got enough power, you know, was quite an experience. But now we're pretty comfortable, so it's not quite as scary. But yeah, we just make sure we're powering the boat and we've got enough out there. But it's, you know, the guys are getting fitter and fitter, so it's getting easier, which is good.
You've come from Olympic campaigning, from the laser class, where you won a bronze medal. How different is all of this compared with your Olympic campaigning?
It's really neat to be part of a team. You know, in the laser, you're doing everything by yourself and you're in charge of the whole campaign. Whereas, you know, just being a part of such a neat team is pretty special for me, and I'm loving it.
Bit of a dream to be doing the America's Cup?
It really is. You know, it's been a dream for me, and a lot of the guys. You know, even the guys who come from a cycling background or a rowing background. So it's really neat to be part of the team.
Do you feel like you can bring an extra dimension to those other guys who've come from outside of sailing because you've got that Olympic campaigning experience?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're teaching them about sailing, and they're teaching us a lot about cycling, and you know, they've got such big backgrounds and you know, different athletic performances. You know, that we're learning heaps from.
How have you had to transform your body to take on this cyclor role?
Lots of hours on the bike. I did quite a lot of cycling throughout the laser campaigns, but yeah, just more hours and the same sport. You know, you don't mix it up with running or swimming or anything like I used to, just cycling. So it's pretty hard.
Do you think the introduction of cyclors played to your strengths, coming from a hiking boat? If it had still been arm grinding, do you think you would have had your spot?
It would have been a lot harder. Yeah, you know, like I say, I cycled throughout the Olympic campaigns, so arm grinding would have been a lot tougher. And yeah, I think a lot more time in the gym, which would have been hard.
Here with Nicolas, helmsman on board Alinghi Red Bull Racing. You had a productive 3.5-hour training session with champion condition session, full of maneuvers and 3 different jigs. Can you tell us what were your objectives for today and which are your feelings on board with such a nice wind conditions?
Today we first started with a little bit of a crew rotation. I jumped in at the helm, I haven't steered the boat for a little while. So as the other Nico Rolla, which jumped in as a flight controller. So for us was a good refresh to be back on board. Then the focus was to do some maneuvers and check the performances of the boat in this nice flat sea state. So I think we achieved the goals today.
Nice. When you stopped for a while, we saw you all checking on your port foil arm. What was the problem?
Yeah, we just had minor issues, a little bit of oil leaking out of the system, so it just took us maybe 15-20 minutes to fix it, and then we were happy to go again.
We saw you trimming the boat down low when you were on your starboard foil. From one side to the other, how does the boat feel and perform with the different foils that you have?
The feeling is a little bit different. Obviously the setting has quite different also, as you could see. Sometimes we more comfortable to sail a boat on one tack than another. But at the end of the day, the performances are pretty much the same, so it's all good.